Hello everybody, today we're going to be sitting down with Nathan Cook, who owns a farmer's agency. Now you may ask yourself, why would you interview somebody who owns a farmer's agency? I see their commercials on TV all the time. And you're right, you do. But I never heard J.K. Simmons talk about a certain agency. So today we're going to sit down with Nate and his team and learn what they can do for you next on the Small Business Voice. Hello everybody, I'm Justin Duncan. Thank you for watching the Small Business Voice. The Small Business Voice is a platform for small business owners to have their voice heard. And what would those small business owners ask you to do? They would ask you to please buy local. So today we're sitting down with Nathan Cook, who owns a farmer's insurance agency. We get to learn about a small business owner in a big business. So Nate, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. Well, after high school, I tried to do the college thing. Didn't work out. Did a couple years at Delta in Stockton, and just wasn't really for me at that time. So I needed a little structure, a little discipline in my life, and what better place to get that than the military. So it's kind of a funny story, but I was in a night class in a parking lot, and I was talking to my buddy, and we were actually supposed to be in class at the time, and we decided we just didn't want to go that night, and so we're sitting there talking, and I get a phone call, and it's a recruiter and from the military, and I was in his office the next day, and within about a month and a half or so, I signed papers and decided to join the Army. So after that, just a few odds and ends stuff, and eventually led me to insurance. So
all right. So, well, for one, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
What experience did the military give you?
Well, like I mentioned, discipline for sure. Definitely got some discipline. Got to travel the world, kind of get a different take on life. Seeing, being in some of these third world countries and whatnot. I was stationed in Germany. I was a nuclear biological chemical specialist, and I'd actually got married after boot camp. So it was one of those decisions where I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was going to be going off to Germany. So it's kind of either we get married or we break it off, and we decided to get married. So after boot camp, got married, and when we got to Germany, she was supposed to move with me, and that didn't happen because I got orders the day I got there that I was going to be going to Iraq. So the first year of marriage was super easy. We never got in one argument. So
wow.
I shouldn't say it was easy, but I should say it was smooth sailing. We never fought because I was on the other side of the world. So things don't always go as planned, but in the end, it was probably a blessing in disguise. Everything worked out great. But so I went to Iraq, did a year there, got to, really kind of see what life is like outside of the United States, kind of take things for granted here, little things, and just really shaped me, I think, as a man. So, I have nothing but great things to say about my military time, and met a lot of good friends, and we still keep in touch, and I'm thankful for the experience.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for your service. I can't say that enough for our military. So you get out of the military. Economy is booming because you get out, 2006? Yeah. So what did you do after you got out of the military?
Well, I was kind of fortunate. My wife's uncle worked at an engineering firm here in Modesto. So I had a job lined up for me when I got out. And all those things they tell you, the recruiters, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, none of that panned out. So luckily I did, have a plan B.
Yeah.
So I got a job, economy was great, working a lot of hours, kind of moved up the chain, and it was awesome. And then I believe it was about 08, in 07 or 08, the economy just crashed, so I had no hours at that point.
So the economy's booming, 2008 comes along, economy crash, you're down from 60 hours to 20 hours like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So where did you go from there?
I started searching hard for jobs. Was going to pay the bills. I had my first kid at that point. So Gallo, great company, here in town, local. Got a job with them, and it was really good pay, good everything. I just, with the hours and having a family and working swing shifts and whatnot, made me decide that maybe I want to go back to school and see what else is out there. So took advantage of those military benefits, and went back to school and got a degree in business, and I majored in marketing. So yeah, went back to college after that, and then that's kind of what led me into the insurance game.
So you take that jump, you leave Gallo, which is security, great pay, insurance for you and your family, probably a retirement or a pension of some sort. But you weren't, I'm taking a jump here, but you weren't happy in life. You needed something more.
Right.
So you go back to school, like you said, use your GI Bill, and you have jobs lined up actually. So what happened? What made you decide to go into insurance?
Yeah, so after college, I had several interviews. I actually got an offer. It was a government job, and I had that offer, and I was pretty set on taking it. And the day that they called me, I had one interview left, and they had called me and told me that I was going to get the position. So I had that one interview left, and it was a couple hours later or whatever. And so I just figured, I don't want to be that guy that bails out on an interview last second. So got dressed up, went to the interview, and I really had no intentions of doing it. It happened to be the Farmers Insurance. So I sat down, and the lady who interviewed me, she's no longer there. She actually is an agency owner now, but she worked for the district at the time. And she told me all about it, and it was intriguing. It sounded great, but I still had no intention. And then as we were leaving, she said, do you want to work for the man your whole life, or do you want to be the man? So that kind of sunk in that night, and I talked to my wife, and it really still wasn't serious, but I just slept on it, and the more I thought about it, the more it sank in. And I was like, you know what, I think I do want to just take that leap of faith and open up my own agency. So within a couple of days, I called her, and we set everything up. I had to get tested and licensed and all that good stuff. So I knocked it out in a couple of weeks, and started my agency from scratch.
Yeah, I've seen that test. That test is very, very long. So I know you need to have time and dedication to do that. So that's great. That's great that you did that. And a lot of people they don't have that courage to bet on themselves like you did. So my kudos for you for that. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. And I will say my wife was very supportive, and she works as well. So that we were really fortunate where I was able to, even with college or starting my agency from scratch, she had another job, and her mom watched the kids. So we've had a lot of help along the way. But yeah, I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So what makes your agency different from other agencies?
I would say one thing that we really pride ourselves on is customer service, getting to know our clients. Farmers as a whole, they have a great claims team. They have great customer service. They have all the numbers you can call. You have your agent. A lot of good things, but our agency in particular, we just really pride ourselves on yearly reviews, if not, twice or three times a year with certain clients. We like to get them in. We like to educate them on what they have, maybe if they have any gaps in their coverage. Excuse me. And then, we do the little things. We'll go out we have a lot of elderly clients, and maybe they have a home policy with us. They don't drive. They need, documents signed or whatnot. We'll go out to them, little things that the 1-800 companies aren't going to do for you. And we pride ourselves on that. And, everything we do with good intention, but we've gotten a lot of referrals because of that as well.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
All right. So you pride yourself on customer service. So if somebody had a question about that policy, you'd go to them, or they can come to you. They can show you the policy, and you can explain it, what they have and what they don't have, what they need, and then just go from there.
Right. We just like to educate them and then put the ball in their court. And if they want to make changes, or they want, as long as they know what they have, what they don't have, and then the decision's, up to them. But as long as we've done our job, if we've educated them and they know what they're paying for, the most important things you're going to insure are your life, obviously, and then your big asset, your home, your auto. If you're to get in an accident, is your liability coverage enough to cover the bodily injury or the property damage of the other party? Or there's a lot of bad things that can happen if you're not properly insured, with the state limits in California being so minimal. If you're not properly insured and you're in an at-fault accident, we're there to make it, turn it from a bad life to just a bad day. Because in reality, it could turn into a bad life. They can attach your wages, they can take your home and everything else. So we just want to educate them.
So hypothetically, if I got into an accident and I wasn't or before the accident, I'll say this. You look at my policy and you say you're not properly insured. Does that cost a lot more? Is that gonna like bring my payment up to over $200 per se?
Not necessarily. It is a case by case, but there's also ways where you can maybe, if you're on a strict budget, there's things maybe we can up your deductible, or maybe we can do this to offset those costs. There's other things we can do, little things we can play with, but that's why we like to get people in and take a look at what they have and go over everything, and then they can make the decision. So we can run numerous quotes. Okay. Well, here's if we do this, if we do this, if we do that, and then it's, ultimately it's up to the customer, but we just want to educate them. So.
Okay. Well, give me an example that you help somebody, just off the top of your head. Give me an example of, you looked at their policy, they weren't covered in a certain area, and you worked something.
We did have a client who, man, this was probably when I first started.
That's okay. But we get to know your character a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
This was a kind of a big one, but he's an elderly client,
okay.
And he got in an accident, and he had called up, and everything was covered, everything was fine. But he came in and he wanted to review everything. He had, I can't remember now, but probably 2 or 3 rental homes that he was the landlord of. Yeah. He rented them out, and so he had assets. If you were to be at fault in something, there's a lot of assets that people would come after, especially in this state. So anyway, we reviewed everything, and we ended up bumping his coverage up. I don't remember what it was at the time. It was really low, 15,000 maybe in bodily injury coverage, maybe 25. But we ended up bumping his coverage up to 250, 500, meaning 250,000 per person. Mm-hmm. And he was in an accident, and he was at fault again. And I think it ended up being about $40,000 or $50,000 in medical bills, loss of wages, and all that. And it adds up so fast, especially like I said here in California, where they're a little more lenient, to say the least. But so yeah, we bumped his coverage up, and although it didn't get to that 250 mark, had he been at where he was before, he would have come out of pocket. He would have had to come out of pocket that that difference. Yeah. So the fact that we bumped up his coverage, it saved him in the long run, saved him thousands and thousands of dollars. So for that, $5 a month at Starbucks or whatever, it really saved him in the end. So
yeah. So what products does your agency offer?
Oh man, we have a wide variety of products. Pretty much everything you think of except for health insurance. So from life insurance to auto to home, specialty, meaning boats, RVs, trailers.
What are you licensed in? Are you licensed in certain areas, and your team has a specialty?
Yeah, so I am licensed in your personal lines, auto and home, and then life insurance as well. And then also, just recently, I was licensed for financial services. So, college saving plans, IRAs, things of that nature.
Yeah, and that is important to have.
Mm-hmm.
So you did bring your team here today?
I did.
Okay, so we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back after this message. Stay tuned.
When it comes to getting your car detailed, it's hard to choose the right place. At Davis Family Shines, we sweat the small stuff, so you don't have to. At DFS, we're fully licensed and insured, guaranteeing your car is in good hands. With over 15 years of professional detailing, you can trust we're experienced and know how to take care of whatever life throws your way. Specializing in automotive restoration, we're offering interior-only details as low as $99 and complete details as low as $199. That's a huge savings. With a variety of packages including headlight restoration and windshield repair, you'll be sure to find a deal to fit your car's needs. Call today to schedule your appointment, 209-495-0525, or go online at modestocardetailing.com. Treat yourself to that new car feeling today.
Hello, welcome back. Now we get to meet some of Nate's team. This is Alina and Stacy. So, Stacy, can you give us a testimony on how you help somebody out of a bad situation?
Absolutely. Well, like Nate said earlier, customer experience is very, very important to us. And I had a client who got into an accident, blacked out, and ran into a pole. And he called me from the hospital and told me that he was in the hospital on medication, was hardly able to speak to me at all. And so I offered to go down and speak with him in person because I needed to get the claim started for him. So I went down and we needed to get his vehicle out of towing. We needed to have a notarized document for that because that's what the towing company required. So what I did was I brought the document to him, and I'm also a notary, so I brought my notary stuff, and in person it was so much easier for us to communicate because over the phone it was like, he was on medication, so slurring his words, I could understand him better in person. And I think it made him feel a little bit of comfort knowing that somebody else was taking care of all that and he could focus on his health and well-being. So at the point he could barely even walk. So I went ahead, I notarized his document down at the hospital, and then I went over to the towing company and was able to get his car released to us, and it was totaled. So we needed to take care of all of that for him. And so that all got handled, and then I'd say about 3 or 4 weeks later, there was another document he needed to sign. So he got moved over to a convalescent home, and I was able to go there maybe last week and speak with him and have him sign that document, which was very quickly, but I got to then double check on him and his recovery, and his family was super grateful, and he was as well, and he told me how much he appreciates this type of experience because you don't normally get that if you just have some sort of company where you have to call a 1-800 number for everything. You don't have someone coming to you and being there for you and empathizing with your physical state or whatever's going on. So it filled my heart with joy to make my customer feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's excellent customer service. I don't think I've ever heard of a insurance agency doing that before. That's a new one for me. So that's an excellent testimony. Alina, same question.
Yeah, a recent experience does stand out in my mind. I think for anybody who works an hourly job, you can relate to as the clock is counting down, you're in your last 5 minutes of work. You're really hoping no one calls in those last 5 minutes, right? I mean,
Yes,
you're really hoping you can clean your desk, clock out, get out of there. Something always seems to happen though for me at the end of the evening where it is an important situation. And I had a phone call about 5 minutes before I was ready to leave a few months ago. And on the other end of the line, I have a really distressed mother. And she was not currently a client. She had found our information from a friend of hers, and she just had a general question, and it was that if her son is borrowing a trailer to go to horse shows and he doesn't own the trailer, is he able to tow it behind his truck? And let's say he gets in an accident, would the liability still be covered? And that was not a question I'd been asked before, so I let her know that I was going to need to consult our underwriting department just to double check for her. And she said that would be great if I could just give her a call back. So I did consult with them, and I found out that we were able to offer there's a lot of coverages that Farmers offers that aren't standard to some other carriers, and that is one of them. If you're borrowing any type of tow vehicle and you have a truck, we'll still cover your liability, we'll still cover the claim on the vehicle, even if it's not owned by you. So I called her back, and she was just completely relieved and goes, I need to come in right away. Is that possible for you to stay late? And I said, certainly, but is there any way we can make our appointment for tomorrow? And she goes, well, I called my company and they told me because I indicated to them that my son would be doing that this weekend, they've dropped his coverage and he's driving on the road right now.
Oh, no.
So any of you guys who have kids, I think especially young drivers, her son was under 21, driving around a big old truck without coverage, that's completely unsafe. So she came into my office, I stayed about 30 minutes late, and we were able to bind their coverage right then and there, make sure that her son on the way to his trip that weekend would be covered. So that was really huge, and it was, it was one of the situations where I think value does come first before price. She had switched to a company to make sure she got the best rate, but then, she realized the cost of that was now my son's safety's at risk as he's going on this trip. He has 3 horses in the back of his truck. What are the chances that he's going to, get in an accident, someone could be injured? So things like that are really great that we're able to offer to people, and it makes me really proud to work for Farmers that we can extend coverages like that people don't even assume are able to be covered on a standard policy. So.
Wow, that's a great testimony. You're right. It's you go to a cheaper insurance agent, and it's not always you get what you pay for, basically. So, so Nate, you got a great team here, and it's a small team, but it's a powerful team. And we're here to spread the word about what you can do for the public. So Nathan, for the people watching at home, How do they get a hold of your office?
Yeah, well, our office is located on the corner of Pellendale and Sisk. The address is 4260 Sisk Road. It's Suite F as in Frank. It's the big glass building on Sisk there. There's like a strawberry field next to Costco. It's right there on the side of the highway, big glass building.
Okay. Like right next to the freeway entrance?
Yeah, yep, the new
Yeah.
entrance there for Pellendale.
All right. And then do you have a Facebook you want to share with us?
Yeah, you guys can look us up on Facebook, Nathan Cook Insurance Agency, see some reviews there. Sometimes we post cool stuff about the community events we're involved in and things like that. And then you can always contact us by phone.
Yeah.
Yes, you can contact us at 209-353-2001.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. For Stacy, Alina, Nathan, I'm Justin Duncan. Thank you for watching The Small Business Voice. Join the crusade. Buy local. We'll see you next time.